Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm SD2production, aka Cthulhu in a Cardigan, here to give you my personal review on the 2005 live-action adaptation of Doom. If you like Halo or Call of Duty or any first-person shooter in general, then you owe it to Doom. Released in 1993, Doom was a huge hit right off the bat. It had the big 3 Gs that everybody was looking for in a first-person shooter. It had guts, gore, and guns. Doom isn't just significant to first-person shooters, but gaming in general. It, alongside other titles like Night Trap and Mortal Kombat, actually led to the establishing of the ESRB, which is the video game rating system that we now have today. It seemed that even id Software, the people that made Doom, actually saw the film potential right off the bat. A year after its release, in 1994, they actually sold the film rights. This was around the time when live-action adaptation of video games was kind of fading away. I mean, you saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and so did the rest of Hollywood. So the rights really didn't go anywhere. In fact, it went back and forth between two production companies until 2004 when Universal Studios announced that they were going to do a live-action adaptation. So, what exactly is the story of Doom? Well, it's rather simple. You play as a space marine on Mars when a gateway to hell opens up. From there, zombies and demons are out for blood, and the only way to survive is to rip and tear your way through hell. Literally. Now let's break down exactly how this simple story was adapted into a feature film. The movie opens up to a number of scientists running away from an unknown monster. One scientist is able to escape and signal for help, named Dr. John Carmack. You know, like the guy who made the game. Subtlety isn't exactly this movie's strong suit. The movie then attempts to steal a page out of Aliens by introducing the most uninteresting characters I could not give two shits about. The Rock enters the movie, and this was around the time when he wasn't the big movie star that he is today. In fact, he plays the most uncharismatic character in the entire film, with little to no character development and basically holding the same stone-cold expression throughout the entire movie. You could literally say that The Rock is playing a rock. It's funny because he's not even the protagonist of the story. It's confusing because he is front and center of the movie poster, but it's actually Bones from Star Trek. And he isn't called Doom Guy or Doom Slayer. He's actually called Reaper. You might know him from his internet name, Edgelord420XDXD. The Rock is the leader of this ragtag team of casualties. They set off to go to Mars through a bad CGI effect, where they're greeted by one of the most on-the-nose characters of the entire film. This is Pinky. The plot kicks in a high gear at this point in the movie as Reaper's sister, who is also a scientist, explains exactly what they've been researching on Mars. She explains one of the stupidest changes to the source material I've ever heard. Instead of a gateway to hell opening up on Mars, where demons come out of, it's a space virus that turns you into a monster based on a predetermined genetic code that establishes whether or not you're a good person or a bad person. And if you're a bad person, it turns you into a zombie, or an imp, or a baron, or a pinky. Not very consistent, is it? After that, they start looking for Dr. Carmack. When they find him, he gives them a hand. Things get even more confusing from here as the movie is trying to decide whether it wants to be a zombie movie or a slasher movie. Because there's only really one imp going around and slaughtering every marine. As the situation gets worse, The Rock finds himself in the armory, where he discovers the BFG. That's right, the big fucking gun. So, how is this adaptation going to tackle such an iconic weapon from the video game? Oh, that's how, by making it completely useless. He only fires it twice and misses both times. After a short fight between a Baron and the remaining Marines, it's revealed that The Rock is infected with the super virus, and because of his predetermined genetic code, he is now the antagonist for the rest of the movie. Surprise? Well, I am. Not only was there little to no character development, but there was no pre-establishing moments that would lead you to believe that he's the bad guy. Reaper is dying, and his sister decides to save his life by infecting him with the super virus, believing that he's a good person, because if you're a good person, the virus gives you superhuman abilities. This leads to one of the most impressive scenes of the entire movie, the first-person scene. With amazing camera work and fantastic blending of practical and CGI effects, I would almost recommend this movie for this scene alone. Luckily, you can go on YouTube and watch the scene on your own, which I recommend. The movie ends in a fight between The Rock and Reaper and a huge CGI explosion. Reaper and his sister are able to escape the events of the film except for me, who had to sit here and watch it. Cue the early 2000s CGI credit sequence and the Nine Inch Nails song that goes along with it. So in short, is this a good movie? No, it's a pretty lackluster early 2000s space horror movie. Now, is it a good adaptation? While it does play around with a lot of aspects of the source material and the overall tone and atmosphere are very reminiscent of Doom 3, it's the uninteresting story and characters that ultimately leads to its downfall. I can't recommend this movie to anybody who's looking for a proper adaptation of Doom. If that is what you're looking for, then I suggest watching the live-action trailer of the 2016 Doom video game, or the video of Bill Gates standing in a Doom level talking about how great Windows is. Isn't the internet amazing?